We've all been there, right? That sudden jolt of anxiety, that feeling that the ground beneath you just isn't as solid as you thought. We're always told to just, hang in there until the storm passes. But what if peace isn't about avoiding the storm at all? What if it's about finding an anchor right in the middle of it?
You see that name pop up on your screen and your stomach just plummets. It's that moment where time seems to slow down and you just know that whatever is on the other end of that line is going to be tough. It's this universal feeling that can shatter any sense of calm you had just moments before.
Or hey, maybe it's not a phone call. Maybe it's that quiet panic when you check your finances and see a number that just makes no sense. It's that feeling that your whole world is shaking, but everyone else is just walking by, totally oblivious. These aren't just little problems, are they? They feel like genuine threats to our stability.
So when this stuff happens, our first instinct is to fix it, right? To get things back to normal so we can feel peaceful again. But this brings up a really important question. What if our entire definition of peace is just flawed? What if we're chasing a destination that doesn't even exist?
Okay, let's just dive right in and tackle the biggest source of our exhaustion, this myth of a problem-free life. We're constantly telling ourselves, I'll finally be at peace when this project is over, or once I get through this one hard thing. We treat peace like it's the absence of trouble, which means we're basically always waiting for a future that's never going to come.
And listen, this is not a new idea. Almost 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said it perfectly. The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. Think about that. If you're struggling, it doesn't mean you're failing at life. It just means you're in the ring. The mistake we make is thinking the struggle is an interruption to our lives, when actually, the struggle is the curriculum.
And this idea, it goes beyond just philosophy. It's a really deep spiritual truth. The Quran says it so explicitly that hardship is literally woven into the fabric of being human. So if ancient philosophy and scripture are both telling us that life is supposed to be a struggle, then chasing after a problem-free existence, well, it's a race we're guaranteed to lose from the start. So, if we can't get rid of the storm, what's the alternative? This is where we get to a totally different approach. It's about building a mindset that makes you resilient to the storm, a way of thinking where you genuinely cannot lose no matter what happens.
In the Islamic tradition, there's this incredibly powerful concept called sabr. Now, it's often translated as just patience, but that doesn't even begin to cover it. This isn't about passively waiting for things to get better. Sabr is an active choice. It's steadfastness. It's perseverance. It's anchoring your soul with purpose while the waves are crashing all around you.
And look, the difference here is absolutely crucial. Regular old patience is usually about gritting your teeth, just waiting for that storm to pass. It's completely dependent on your circumstances getting better. Sabr, on the other hand, is an active choice to anchor yourself inside the storm. It's a kind of peace that is totally independent of what's going on outside of you.
This mindset is exactly what makes you unlosable. This teaching explains it so beautifully. Every single situation becomes a win. If something good happens to you, you respond with gratitude, and that's a victory. If something difficult happens, you respond with sabr, with that active, steadfast growth, and that is also a victory. The peace isn't in the situation changing, it's in knowing that you can benefit from every single outcome. You can't lose.
All right, now let's take this one step further, because it gets even more profound. It's not just about enduring hardship, it's about completely reframing what that hardship even is. What if adversity wasn't a punishment? What if it was actually an opportunity in disguise?
The great scholar Ibn al-Qayyim had this incredible way of looking at it. He said, a trial is like a gift wrapped in a rough cloth. The packaging is difficult, sure, but what's inside is so valuable. He even suggested that sometimes a door gets slammed in our face just to force us to turn around and finally see a much better door that we would have completely ignored otherwise. And what's amazing is that this ancient wisdom is echoed so powerfully in modern psychology. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust, wrote that the one thing that can never, ever be taken from us is our freedom to choose our response. Your real power isn't in controlling the storm. It's in choosing how you anchor yourself right in the middle of it.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but let's get practical. What do you actually do when it's 2 in the morning, anxiety hits, and you feel like you can't breathe? How do we make this real? Let's walk through some concrete steps.
First thing, acknowledge the pain. Don't try to spiritually bypass it or pretend you're fine. Be honest about how you feel. Second, focus only on the next right step.
When you're in a blizzard, you can't see the destination. You can only see as far as your headlights. So just focus on the next 5 minutes. What's one small thing you can do right now? And third, use remembrance, or dhikr. This is like a neurological reset button. It's designed to pull your brain out of that fight-or-flight survival mode and back into a state of trust and calm.
And that really brings us to the heart of it all. Peace is not some destination you arrive at when all your problems magically disappear. It's not something you find. It's a muscle. It's a skill. Peace is something you build, day by day, choice by choice, especially when things are hard.
And I just want to leave you with this final thought from the poet Rumi. The storm, the struggle, the pain, we see it as something that breaks us. But what if it's actually what opens us up? What if the wound isn't an injury, but an invitation for something greater to enter our lives? The storm might be loud, but it doesn't have to be inside of you.